Hey, it's Drybear. Yesterday I put out my Blade Master build, which takes advantage of throwing knives and katanas and two iconic weapons that work great together. But I got a question in stream on whether katanas are better than the blade alternative, Mantis blades. So today we're gonna go through my Mantis blade build that focuses primarily on using Mantis blades. It's quite different, and we'll see how the two compare at the end. But first, you should come hang out with me on my live stream. I'm live every single day on twitch.tv/Drybear. If you don't come hang out with me in the Twitch community, the next time you put on fresh socks, you're gonna immediately step in a small amount of water. Now, if you're looking for it, I have the link down below in the description and in the comments going through my entire Mantis blade build, so you can copy it and put it in game or use it for reference if you're making your own build. Now let's talk about the difference between katanas and Mantis blades. One thing to know right off the bat is that yes, Mantis blades, for all intents and purposes, count as blades in general. So all of these perks that say they only affect blades, they will also affect Mantis blades as well. So you'll still get the same bonuses and benefits regardless of which one you're using and how they're treated, at least categorically, within the system. The main difference is that one is a weapon, which means it can be iconic and you'll get special passives and stats on it that won't exist on Cyberware, and the other is Cyberware only, which means that these exist on your Cyberware build and you'll be able to put them in and upgrade them through the Ripper dock and will have their own sets of abilities and stats as well. However, a nice bonus of Mantis blades is in the new expansion Phantom Liberty, there is actually a special tree at the top of the relic tree that focuses on your arm implants. One is for the gorilla arms, one is for the projectile launch system, one is for the monowire, and of course there is one option for the Mantis blades as well. Which means that if you have the new expansion, you unlock a new ability for Mantis blades, which allows you to perform a finisher after dismembering or charge a leap attack and go towards a target dealing damage. And of course you also get a longer reach. You can see in this video just how long the reach dash is for the Mantis blades. And for this build, we actually only really need to use Mantis blades and grenades. We don't need to use any weapons at all. The Mantis blades by themselves, because of these changes, are actually sufficient as a solo weapon. You don't really need anything else because you're able to cover such incredible distance with the Mantis blades alone. Also keep in mind that the second part of this extended dash that you get through the relic talent system applies a big AoE cleave attack at the end of the dash, which means it'll hit all targets in a wedge area in front of you when you finish the dash. And what's great about that is the next upgrade that you get for it allows you to, with leap attacks, apply cripple and have a higher dismemberment chance against enemies hit. And this includes everyone hit in that big cleave at the end, which means that Mantis blades work awesome with high mobility, and inside of the reflexes and cool tree, we'll get a lot of extra damage reduction and mitigation from the faster that we move, and you can really get enemies' faces. Every time you get a finishing move, it works really well with that. It also scales exceptionally well with adrenaline because you're not going to be switching out of melee ever. You're just going to be running around. And because there's less overall talent points required for Mantis blades, it gives you a little bit of room where you can actually spec into other things. Like if you wanted to do tech weapons or you want to do power weapons, you could swap if you want. But what I recommend actually is just going all the way through the tech tree, getting Cyberware, and then upgrading your grenades, because it's so easy to just chuck grenades left and right. You can do recon grenades, smoke grenades, explosive grenades, flame grenades, EMP grenades to shut down Cyberware, all of that while you're keeping your Mantis blades out and staying very heavily mobile. Now for this build, when you finally are max level at level 60 for Phantom Liberty, if you have the expansion, I do recommend 20 body, 20 reflexes, 20 technical, 18 cool, and 3 intelligence. You'll miss a little bit of crit chance or crit damage with the cool being lower, but I actually don't see any major value in getting any of the final tree options for the cool tree. So we're going to use those points instead to unlock things like getting extra healing when you have adrenaline rush active and you neutralize an enemy. If you're just starting out fresh on a new character and you're not using any mods, I would recommend getting reflexes up first. Get it at least to +9, so you can unlock the second part of the tree and go straight to lead and steel. This is where you really unlock the ability to stay in the fight because it allows you to deflect incoming projectiles by blocking. You'll also want to go ahead and pick up bullet deflect and bullet time, and this makes the experience of using Mantis blades exclusively a lot easier because you can deflect bullets back at enemies, and if you have slow time for any reason, synaptic accelerators, Sandevistans, whatever it is, you'll be able to deflect without consuming stamina, and allows you to be a lot more useful as you go along. Then I love picking up the extra damage reduction and movement speed that you have when you have dashes. Get the extended dash, it helps a lot. Even get mitigation after dashing, and you want to be dashing constantly. You can even go up into the air dashes as well for reflex. And then you also want to get flash and thunderclap, which I think is a Demon Slayer reference, but allows you to leap when you do strong charged up attacks, to leap forward before you unlock any cool relic bonuses that you get with the new expansion. Then I would go straight into body and get at least 4 points in body and get all of these bottom perks here. I think any melee build really benefits from having all 5 of these perks here. This one gives you in combat health regen, which means that if you're in combat, it'll start ticking up like it does when you're out of combat. You'll get extra health regen when you're sprinting, which you will be doing almost all the time. Extra health regen for each nearby enemy. Extra health regen when you get lower and lower. And then of course you get more mitigation after using a health item, which is really massive. These 5 here make melee builds a lot more playable early on, and I would prioritize getting these unlocked. You only need 4 body points to get this unlocked. Likewise, going into the technical tree, there's some easy pickups here that make life a lot easier for melee builds. Getting up Glutton for War, Transfusion, and First Aid, and then 2 points into Health Freak and 1 into Field Medic. All of these perks here give you a lot of survivability for a melee build. And then I like running to License to Chrome, which gives you free armor, unlocks more armor for your skeleton slot. And then you want to pick up Extended Warranty once you have a Sandevistan to get that going as well. Once you have that core while you're leveling, bounce right back to the reflexes tree and finish this out, because this is where a lot of your offensive capabilities come online. So make sure you have Lead and Steel, make sure you have Flash and Thunderclap, make sure you have the deflecting as well. And then you want to go straight up to the top. Get Finisher, Blade Runner. The finishers give you a lot of extra bonus, which is really, really nice. Increase the finisher range with going the distance. Do Opportunist in order to do Stagger, Blind, and Bleeding are more susceptible finishers, which we will be bleeding everyone we hit once we unlock Slaughterhouse with all attacks, counterattacks, and deflected bullets, and increases your chance to dismember, which is super nice. 25% movement speed and attack speed for 6 seconds after performing a finisher. It's very important that when you're playing the Mantis Blade build, you want to take as many finishers as you can. And you do have a small amount of iframes when you're doing a finisher animation. So I tend to, if I have my Sandevistan active, I will turn it off when I'm doing a finisher and then turn it back on when I'm going back into combat so that I don't waste that time in my Sandevistan. I give it a chance to build up while I'm using those iframes. We have the dashes and bonuses in here. We want to get the extra stamina after neutralizing an enemy. And then we also want air dashes, which gives us a bunch of extra speed and movement and gives us abilities to double jump with the extra cyberware, dash in, deal some damage, dash out, leap in with the Mantis Blade ability, then air dash back out. And also we get in-air maneuverability, but more important, while we're in the air for any reason, aerodynamic from the reflexes tree will give us more durability, which is great as well. And you also get plus 25 stamina from performing air dashes and double jumps. So while you're in the air dashing around, you're getting your stamina back. And keep in mind, this is very important because when your stamina is above 33%, while you're blocking, projectiles get deflected to your reticle, which means you can deal damage to targets while you're also guarding and moving around the battle. And I like coming over to body. Getting body maxed out gives us more HP, and then pick up Adrenaline Rush, and then all the modifiers for adrenaline, including Pain to Gain. Adrenaline is just free max HP. It gives you a bunch of extra max HP, especially right after you use a health item, whether it's automatic through Cyberware or you activated the button. And then also gives you the ability to get all these extra bonuses as well, which means max HP, health regen, you can't be knocked down during adrenaline, you have movement speed, you have increased damage, adrenaline lasts longer, and also when you neutralize an enemy during adrenaline rush, which should be most of the time, you recharge your health item, which gets you more adrenaline, more healing, and keeps that momentum rolling. Lastly, we have some extra points because we're not using any other weapons besides Mantis Blade. So I do actually like picking up Pyromania here. This gives you recharge for health items and grenades, and then get all of the grenade bonuses. Damage reduction when you use an explosive that's caused by you, you take less damage from it. You get extra charges for recon grenades, flash grenades, and smoke grenades. Don't sleep on these. Recon grenades are incredibly useful. Smoke grenades are super nice for melee builds, and flash is useful as well. Flash not only blinds the enemy, but lowers their accuracy as well. So even if they're using these really intense weapons, they're going to miss a bunch right after you use it. And it gives you bonus extra damage. You can throw these out. Grenades can do crazy, crazy bonus as well. And I love Ticking Time Bomb because it works with Sandevistan. So when you activate Sandevistan, you'll apply an EMP to all targets, dealing damage to them, and then you'll charge the EMP and do it back again. And then Edge Runner just allows you to get more Cyberware capacity and gives you damage, crit chance, and crit damage. The more Cyberware cap you've gone over. Now, the one major downside about Mantis blades is that unlike other weapons, there isn't any iconic Mantis blades. And at first, this seems like a huge downside, but there's so many bonuses to using the Cyberware modification system to get your weapons that it ends up equaling out towards the end. But you do want to know that there are about 5 different Mantis blades that you can choose from once you're finally in the end game. Every ARM Cyberware attachment allows you to use either a baseline physical version with bleeding chance, or you have an electric, a fire, which applies burning, or you also have a toxic, which applies poison to targets as well. So those are the 4 base ones, but there's also a secret option that you can get for Mantis blades. And that's these babies right here, the MaxTac Mantis blades. So you'll have the base Mantis blades, the electrifying, toxic, and thermal Mantis blades, which you can use interchangeably and swap them in and out. There's also a secret one, the MaxTac Mantis blades. These are, for all intents and purposes, exactly the same as the regular Mantis blades. They just look different. The regular Mantis blades are red. They're kind of the Arasaka version, but you can get the MaxTac ones, which have this nice blue and yellow color to them. And they are kind of lore centric because you get them from the character from the first ever trailer of Cyberpunk, which I think is pretty cool and thematic. But they do have one major difference that no other Mantis blade in the game has. Statistically, they are the exact same as the base Mantis blades on how much damage, stamina cost, attack speed, all of that. But they have a special stat on them that doesn't exist on any other Mantis blade that I've been able to find or craft or upgrade. And that is the last stat you see at the very bottom of this tooltip, health regen from defeating a bleeding enemy. Now, the base Mantis blades, whether it's the MaxTac Mantis blades or the regular Mantis blades, they have a % bleeding chance. But keep in mind that when we're running with the Reflexes build, when we have Slaughterhouse, we're always applying bleeding. All attacks, counterattacks, and deflected bullets apply bleeding, which means that we're always going to be able to get that healing back from the MaxTac Mantis blade. So again, effectiveness-wise, they're not going to be any really different than any other Mantis blade that you choose, but it does have a nice stat on it. So the question is, how do you get these Mantis blades? Mantis blades can be bought from any Ripper dock in the city. In 2.0, they made it so all Ripper docks carry the same materials, the same gear, so you don't have to worry about specific ones. However, the expansion Ripper docks tend to have the expansion items in them, so you don't want to go there if you do have Dogtown unlocked to get the 4 base type of Mantis blades. And you can upgrade those. And if you're wondering how to get past certain tiers, the tiers themselves are based on your level. And so you need to level up. If you're only seeing, blue, or you're only seeing green, uncommon, common, rare, epic, all of those, if you're only seeing those, it just means that your character level needs to be higher so that the Ripper docks can sell you a higher version, a higher tier of those base Mantis blades. But to get the MaxTac Mantis blades, if you want those will be inside the city center downtown. You'll get a side job quest that'll pop up that takes you to the clothing store in city center downtown. You'll walk inside and you'll have a conversation with the receptionist, the seller on the frontier, and then after a little while, a cyber psycho will bust in and fight you out. And you have to either defeat the cyber psycho on your own or delay until MaxTac arrives. But this is the quest that unlocks the ability to get these MaxTac Mantis blades, and you're actually only able to get them in this specific moment. If you walk away from this, they won't be available ever again. So you'll talk to Zane, talk through the quest, the cyber psycho will bust in while you're talking, and then MaxTac will arrive. Once you deal with the cyber psycho, when MaxTac walks in, a senior officer will want to get your statement. And that senior MaxTac officer is Melissa Rory, the original trailer for Cyberpunk, the cyber psycho with the Mantis blades, and she actually currently has the MaxTac Mantis blades implanted in her arms. And so if you want these Mantis blades, you have to kill her and take them off of her body. You will drop a random rarity, but you can just upgrade them to get a higher value on them. But it's pretty crazy because she is currently surrounded by a good 10 to 12 other MaxTac officers, and as soon as you attack her, you will immediately get 5-star bounty. But there's an easy way to do this. All you have to do is just get right behind her. You can even try and grab her. I wasn't able to do it. You can grab the other officers, but not her. Just kill her, slow time, whatever you got to do, grab the item and then run away. And as soon as you talk to a vendor elsewhere, you'll be able to instantly remove your bounty. So just go into a random shop, talk to the vendor, your bounty will disappear, and you'll have the MaxTac Mantis blades. But this is the only place where you can get these Mantis blades. They're not any different from the baseline ones. I've compared the stats and the upgrades, except for that one stat that allows you to heal when you kill a target that is bleeding. Let's go over other options for your cyberware that work really well with this build. In general, I think you want to max out your armor as high as you possibly can. You're going to be in the fight, dashing around, taking damage, taking explosions, making explosions, getting shot at. No matter how much you think you can dodge everything, you're still going to get shot a whole lot. So I love getting high armor with this build. If you can swing it, try to get your full skeleton maxed out, especially with License to Chrome. And I think the minimum that you're going to want with this build is going to be at least dense marrow for the extra melee damage and the melee stamina cost increase, which doesn't matter too much to you, but you get melee damage resistance, bonus stealth damage, and extra armor from this. The dense marrow is an easy pickup. You also do want to pick up the Sandevistan. The best one, in my opinion, is the Apogee Militech version that you get towards the end of a game. It is iconic. It gives you extended duration every time you neutralize an enemy, and you're going to be neutralizing people left and right with this build. So you'll constantly be refreshing your Sandevistan. You'll also have the refresh built into the builds, the talents that we have in there, so that combines really well together. I also love getting the Axolotl since you're going to be doing cyberware resets when you do it. It also has melee damage on it and bonus stealth damage, which is really cool. And then I also like getting the Cockatrice, just like the Blade build, because this will give you extra crit chance, which is really nice for the Blade build, just being able to get people into that finisher range a lot sooner. Pick your Mantis blades of choice. You can pick whichever one you want. You can get the normal ones, you can get the max tech ones, you can get the toxic, the lightning, or the thermal ones. They're all about the same in DPS. The only benefit of the max tech is just being able to have some health return as you use them. There's nothing really valuable in the hands. You can even use tattoos if you want. It doesn't really matter. And then for nervous system, I love getting the Stabber, which gives us crit chance with blades, extra crit chance from our reflexes, melee damage resistance. And I also like getting the reflex tuner too, because when your HP drops low, you'll be able to get slow time. And remember, when we have our reflex bonuses here, when we're in slow time, you don't consume any stamina when you're deflecting bullets. So when you have your Mantis blades up and you're in slow time, you'll just deflect every bullet. It won't cost you any extra stamina, which is really nice. And again, we want lots of armor. The chitin is really great. This gives you a big chunk of armor. I like getting the nanoplating as well, chance to block an incoming projectile. And then after a dash, you can block more projectiles as well. And remember that while we're dashing, of course, we're still getting major damage reduction mitigation chance after dashing. So if we're dashing constantly, we're activating the nanoplating, we're activating our perk bonuses to be tankier and be able to get shot at a lot more. Shock and Awe is also super fun because not only are we running with the technical ability to get EMP, we're also running with the relic ability to cause a large explosion whenever we break a vulnerability point. And then of course, on top of that, we can even get Shock and Awe, which gives us another electroshock, which we're constantly pulsing lightning damage out, doing tons of melee damage, hitting vulnerable points, and killing everyone in sight. Lastly, I think you need reinforced tendons. The double jump is just too useful. Not only that, but we know we're running with the extra stamina when we double jump. So I don't think there's any choice here but getting the reinforced tendons for the double jump. We can also get reflex attune, which gives us crit chance. And then for circulatory, I like getting heal on kill. You can also run second heart here if you want, just if you want to try and, a little bit extra HP and survivability in case you do get one shot by something. I like running the bio monitor for extra healing. This helps you keep your healing up, gives you health item effectiveness on top of the technical ability attunement. And it makes sure that you keep your adrenaline up as well, because as we use our healing items with this, adrenaline gets built up from this, which is super nice. And then I also like running with the adrenaline booster, 25% stamina whenever you use a melee weapon to neutralize an enemy. So getting that stamina back constantly allows us to stay high stamina, stay dashing around, stay lunging, and also be able to deflect bullets quite easily. Since we do have points in cool, I do like using the stealth options in the game to be able to move around, start combat, or take out an elite enemy that's hard to kill right off the bat. But you generally just want to be positioning on the edge of the fight, dashing in, looking for chances to cause explosions, do charge attacks as often as possible. If you get the chance to do a finisher, do the finisher. It'll give you stamina, it'll give you attack speed, it'll give you HP back, which is super nice. And then kind of use your slow time to move around, hit as many targets as you can. When you do neutralize a target, do another lunge attack, which will do the cleave attack, cripple targets. And then you want to keep moving, and try to manage your Sandevistan timing as well. Most Sandevistans, if you turn them off, they'll start recharging, and then you can turn them back on, use your health to give your adrenaline, and then you're just chopping. It is a super fun, high speed playstyle that's actually quite different than a katana playstyle where you may want to be using other weapons or throwing weapons like the Satori and the Nehon. This one just means you're kind of like a wild animal, just running in, slicing and dicing and cutting everyone to pieces and flying through the air. So that's my Mantis Blades build for the people that were looking for it. You'll find the link down below for the full build if you're looking to get a reference for that. And of course, if you found value in the video, leave a like down below, leave a comment for the algorithm to help this video get seen by more people, and I'll see you on my live stream. If you enjoyed yourself today, leave a like down below. You can support me and my work on Patreon and view Patreon exclusive content, link in the description. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll see you in the next one.